I
Yeah.
went through phases of just art wasn't the same for me. Basketball wasn't the same for me.
Nothing wasn't the same.
No, and now I'm finally, this time right here has been a great time to just be with myself and center myself and
Totally.
really understand what means to me. But I don't want to go into that, but that's 24 years when my mom passed to that collaboration still coming into being, and then also concept with the Egyptian culture.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
huge.
when I seen you, that's when I said I already been knew you had it, but I said I love seeing people. You know how somebody they already got it, but then they make another step, and you like, he really got it. Like, you know, I was like, yo, that was when, and I've been rocking with Concepts, Tarek and Dion and all them guys for years, and I
Yeah,
was super happy.
much love to them.
Totally. So let's go into another genre of art, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was like, this kid's an A&R, basically, music. So just from the fact of a couple conversations we had, and I was like, you know how you be, everybody just the current, like, yo, this new album, and you dig deep in the music, lyrics, you up here reciting, like, Genius, the website, people bars, like, the music side of you. Like, just explain how does that connect to you, and how much of it is an art and music that connects to your world?
Well, I started with the baritone. I started with the baritone when I was in 4th grade in Jersey.
Wow.
I don't know if for every school, but we had to pick an instrument. And I chose the biggest instrument because I wanted to be the class clown. I wanted to carry this big old instrument. I didn't want to play it at all. I played the baritone, and that's where my love for music initially started, of reading music.
Wow.
And, in West Orange, New Jersey, I went from Gregory Elementary School to Roosevelt Middle, and I played the baritone for 5 straight years. And I actually became great at it. I practiced every night. My dad and my sister used to knock on my door. I used to be playing the baritone and really getting ready for our concerts, our winter concerts, our spring concerts. And as that evolved, I just started staying after class, and I joined the jazz band. And then I started playing the valve trombone. And then I started learning about the drums. And then I started learning just about the piano. And then over time, I started going out to Seattle. My grandfather was the pastor of a Lutheran church in Seattle, or in Port Orchard, Washington, and my grandma played the piano. So I used to be over there listening to all her play hymns. And
you had no choice then.
Nope, I was around it. And yeah, there's just a beauty about it, man. I've just had an appreciation since I was a kid, and I grew fond of it. And then when you get older and you have people that you respect, this is the coolest thing about being like me at this point, like, and I'm saying this me because I'm really proud to be who I am, but it's just as I started meeting all my favorite artists.
Yeah,
like,
that's when it trips you out, man.
Yes, that was, and then them to be appreciative of what you do as an artist.
Yeah,
I was like, man, this is the best thing. You know, you get to meet Nas, you get to meet Hov, you get to meet,
Stevie Wonder. I met Stevie Wonder, and I didn't know what to do. I was nervous.
Yo, I fanned out plenty of times, like, where I don't even know what to say sometimes. Like,
now you know what's funny? I remember we was at It's funny because this is a story that we was together. We was at it was with Kevin's birthday party, and I was with Mos. Yeah. And I brought him over, and you ain't see him at first. You was like, "What up, Frank?" Oh shit!
I didn't even expect to see it. Like, see him, because it catches you off guard
all the time, man.
They're just as greatly normal as you are, and they're walking in their skin, and they're comfortable, and they've done so much. Their success and their catalog so vast, and yet they stand for so much. And you have so many questions in that point, but you just want to say, "What's up? How you doing?"
And keep it moving.
Yeah, you don't want to be over.
Yeah, but you know what? It makes you still understand you human when you see somebody and you be like, yeah. And the fan out for like of that perspective is great, man. Yeah. So a question with an artist, right? Like one of my favorite artists is Andre 3000. Like besides the music, but then the art came and the parrot and the guitar and the the referee outfit. What artist was one of your favorite artists that's connected to art, like in the general, besides their music?
Well, first off, I would say it changed over time. My idols, my influencers, everyone that I looked up to. First off, it was Michael Jackson. That was like number one, and then it was Prince. And I love the competition of those two. And then I went back even more in history in terms of where I am presently, and it was Sam Cooke. And why Sam Cooke was because he started a revolution of.
And that pen.
Yes.
That pen was magical.
Yes, and the ownership aspect of being a black man owning his own label, signing his own artist, and where we are in today's world is ownership and, you know, accountability and having your own appreciation, creating your own community of critics rather than utilizing what you have outside of media, which is the barrier of entry. Sometimes, like they tell you how great you are, or you depend on their opinion. So it changed over time, and those are like my revolutionaries right there, or my rebels. They were rebels. They were rebels rather than revolutionaries.
I'm a little salty you ain't throw Lionel Richie in the middle of Prince and Michael Jackson, but
I'm sorry. I know, like I said, I don't want to.
No, I'm just killing you, man. I'm just killing you.
Yeah.
So I got two more subjects, man. Two more categories, and then we can wrap it up.
By the way, hey, Free, I told Michelle, I told Shelly that I was gonna stay on to talk about this for however long. I'm not doing anything at home right now, so you let me know how this can go moving forward. Yeah,
I got a couple more than the categories, man. You having fun? I'm having fun. We can keep it going, man. So the next one is fashion, man. I know I see the drip, as the kids say, and I love like you just throw it on them. You ain't worried about it. You could tell when I look at your fashion, you a guy that just like I'm comfortable with who I am. Mm-hmm. I wear what I want and I put it together the way I want to put it together and make me feel good about it. But what is something like you know, I look at also like you look at Marc Jacobs, you look at him as an artist before it makes it through clothing. What is something like the some artists in the fashion realm or brands that you really like?
Man, I thought my sister would be able to answer this because that's who I really, really depend on.
Wow.
So let me tell you something, Free. My sister, right? I came one day and I told my sister, yeah, you know, I know a little bit about fashion. You know, like I know what I'm doing out here. You know what I mean? And she just straight up told me, like, Kyrie, you're not even known for fashion, bro. You're not even known for that. Like, I don't even know why you don't even know what you're talking about. And that's where I just really just started to listen to her. And I followed her direction. And she started putting me in Dior and started putting me on to Ovadian Sons and Chain and Noah and Neighborhood and Golf Wang. And I started to see the transition of, oh, I see all these amount of clothes and brands. Okay, let's match them all together. And then I already had the sneaker culture down to a T. So I was like, man, Age, you got the top and bottom. I got the shoes.
But you know what? To your point, though, man, it's like your attitude of why you wasn't even worried about it is what makes real people stylish. And that's like New York, man. And you know, growing up, you see people they comfortable and like they'll put outfits together. The colors don't match, but then you look at it, and I think style evolved. It used to be matchy.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's just like the way contemporary art changed, to where it went from street art to now street art is its own
fine art. It's almost fine art.
It's just like that. Just like streetwear is now becoming what it is in fashion. Coming to fashion shows, and you know, you got you got Virgil, you got all these.
Don C, Jerry.
You could do whatever you want in fashion and art. It's just like, don't be afraid to try different things. I got so tired of trying to live up to expectations, and you got to dress like this in order to be in this corporate environment. And that's why I love my tattoos. I love showing up as an artist to where I'm sitting across the table, maybe dressed up in a suit or maybe dressed up in streetwear, but it's all about what's in here and in here. It's not so much about what you see and all that other stuff that people care about sometimes. It's just like, don't even trip off that. Like, keep creating, keep doing. Like, really F what people say about what you should be doing, trying to be in a box. Every time you're not in a box, that's when you're different. That's when you're crazy. That's when you're unique. And you're like, nah, man, we're all uniquely made by God. So it's all right.
Totally. And we all special in our own light, man.
Yep.
All right, so now let's go into a car.
Yep.
Cars are art, and they literally are drawn first on a blueprint. You know, what kind of car do you look at as art for yourself? Like, and like why? Like from a design factor.
It depends on the car, honestly. But my two favorites are I have a Porsche 911 GT3, but
Okay.
it's stick shift. It was the last stick shift that Porsche was making, so I got a hold of that. Didn't know how to drive it at all, so I was stalling out on hills.
Did you burn the clutch though? You didn't burn it, did you? He's like, yo, you weren't supposed to ask that question.
I messed up that car, like, but at the same time, what I loved about it was that was mine. That was mine to mess up. I didn't want anybody to tell me how to drive it. I had my fiance with me, and she was encouraging me, like, "Kai, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it." And I was just trying to work the clutch and work the shift, and I'm over there, the car shutting off and turning back on. But my favorite car, art-wise, is a 1969 Ford Mustang GTO.
Wow.
That's my favorite ever. Like, I'm still looking for the right GTO right to the day.
The right one.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I think a lot of people, it's funny, like, and that's why I keep saying art is everything, because we look at a car and we be like, yo, that's dope. But people, it's really a drawn out product that was like, really, is he coming back? Kyrie froze. Oh, snap. Hold on. He actually froze. K.I., you there?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
here.
there you go. I think he moved. No, it moved, but it's just when it came to me that realizing that art is everything, man, and I just was like, wow, we never go back to the origin of a lot of things we love, and we forget that it's art. One of the examples I always say is like, logos. Like just think about like team logos.
Mm-hmm.
A whole football team is based on the Philadelphia Eagle. But that logo was drawn first. Now you got fans, you got a mascot, and all these things expanded from some man or lady probably drew this logo, got paid who knows what, and now it's $1 billion entity. I think one of the greatest stories is like Phil Knight, the lady that drew the Nike swoosh, and then he came back later and finally took care of it financially. But everything started from art, and it's just incredible how the levels of art keeps growing, man.
How did you come up with that?
What art is everything?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, toys, right? So all right, when you look at it, when you growing up, first thing you got a toy, but we skip it, and even with our movies, like so a lot of people look at Marvel movies now, and they might not even thought about the comic book. Yeah. So like I grew up with kids would go see the Avengers and fall in love with it, but never seen the comic book.
Yeah.
So then let's go through the step before the comic book. It was a sketch.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think we're like in life we're already at the end of the product, but everything is art,
Yeah.
And I just think we like forget about art, and we really forget about the artist, because
bingo. That's
I want to know who did the Chicago Bulls logo. Like, is Jordan without the Bulls logo? Is the red, white, and black, the red, black, and white color scheme is so significant because somebody drew it first. Like, who drew the elephant pattern on the three? Like, where is he at? Is it, and like, it's all these great art, and I don't feel like artists get to tell their stories. And I looked at it in one way. When I got the gallery, everybody just started saying like fine art, or painter, and I was like, no, it's like this person who does buildings, like tattoo artists. Like, I think everybody has a story to tell if they trace it back to whatever your art is.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the series that we're doing, I was like, I really wanted to start it with you, and shout out to Alex and Michelle and the NBPA, because I was like, K.I. as a person, I know when we get on here and start talking, we're gonna go through tattoos, sneakers, and music, and we don't have to talk about ball. Like, and it's still fun and interesting, because me being around the league all these years, I know a lot of y'all, and there's so many things y'all want to talk about and really give y'all opinions on, which all started from art. Yeah. But nobody connects it back to art like that.
Oh yeah, it's part of. I'm reading this book. It's called The Hero's Journey, and it's on Cobb's like book reading list. If anybody wants to know it, it's on. It's called The Hero's Journey, and and it discusses a lot about that journey of, you know, the way you see yourself versus the way others see you. And it's like it's almost like an internal battle of you trying to answer a lot of questions externally, meaning the public and what you should be, goals and what makes greatness. And then also when you get to that point of understanding that that all starts internally. It all starts
Totally.
with where that origin comes from for you. Where does that inspiration get you up every day? What's my why? You know, not so much of like doing it for anyone else. It's like, why am I doing this every single day of creating something that I love, you know, and something I want to express.
So now we'll go into one that's connected to the sports world. Who are some athletes, any sport, that you looked at their game as an art? Like, wow. Not because they made a touchdown or they made a basket, but like when you looked at their game, it was almost an art form more than just the regular sport.
Well, you obviously have like, you kind of have the big names that have come before us. You know, you got MJ, you got Tiger, you know, those are like purists. You know, I think of them as purists. You got KD, even now, like that's my version, present day, of somebody that, like, when I watch him, that's like, that's like,
it's a different. It's like the X-Men.
Yo, that's like, you know, and I know the same respect we have for each other. So it's like when I watch him and I study him, it's like watching a purist. But I would say, for me, it's like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
That's a art form where you just can't replicate it, of throwing the hands, or when he was looking over, you know, like
on his shoulder.
Yeah, while he was in the pool, and it just, those are iconic moments. And I know some people won't remember the days, but they'll remember the moments. And those what true artists capture. They capture the moment of MJ's last shot, of Serena's final serve, of,
MJ's push off, like that push off. I think when that was creating a move, that push off, I just said, wow. But go ahead.
I think too, for me, the top two in my heart, in my mind, I've always attributed my art to was Kobe and Bruce Lee. There was such a connection.
It's almost a similarity in them two.
Yes. Those are like my two muses that I study, where they talk about the same move that they did over and over and over and over. Would you want to practice 10,000 kicks one time, or would you want to practice one kick 10,000 times? That was my refuge right there. That was me in my back.
Wow.
Is right there. And they also led me to a lot of the authors that I fell in love with too, of just training my mind, that aspect. Like,
it's funny. I don't think a lot of people get to know this side of you. And then when these words get spoken, you know, this doesn't come out in the regular media world, you know. And I think it's funny because Kobe, nobody got to know this side. They only knew the game of Kobe until like a little bit. All the other worlds of Kobe came out in the interviews and after he retired. And same with Bruce Lee. We didn't get this in the movies, but we kind of, and we didn't get it. We didn't get it in karate interviews. We got it in other type of interviews. And like, nah, thank you, man, for just, you know, showing this art side, and it's bigger than just the sport of it, man.
I mean, hey, I think that these conversations can happen more often. It just depends on who you're speaking with and what they know about you. You know, it's just a mutual respect. I feel like sometimes in interviews it could become so one-sided that it's just about maybe someone just trying to get something out of you. But in this aspect, I'm learning as much from you as you're learning from me, and that's all I can ask for. You know, that's what life's about.
I think with me, just doing interviews with all different peoples in the genres of music, sports, art, it's trying to always bring somebody back to a center point. And like that's been my gift, is like bringing everybody to that art. Like, I'll ask you the question: what was your first love ever? It's like a trick question.
My first love?
Yep. What's your first love? He's like, damn, I don't even think.
My first love, man. I think my first love was being a son.
Okay.
I don't
So
know. I can't really say anything particularly like, but
it's kind of cool that you went there because everybody gets it wrong, but that one might get like a different type of level, its own answer. But usually the answer I tell everybody is it was a toy because your parents gave you a toy to shut up, stop you from crying. Even your pacifier looked like it had a little barrel on it. It was something they gave you. You went to sleep with a
Oh,
toy.
okay. I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you them. Okay.
I
My
can't
first.
eat it. Now you got the answer though. That ain't right.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna give you my answer. Now.
All right.
My first love, and this is like completely off the record too. But like nothing's off the record after IG Live. But my first love actually was my T-shirt.
Wow.
It was a T-shirt, and I have, and my friends and my family know that I have like a habit. I have my T-shirt, and
Was it
I
something
had
on the T-shirt?
nah. It's just a soft white cotton T-shirt, and it gives me love and security. I've been doing it since I was a baby, and I believe that where I am in my life now, it was the last thing I have of a memory of my mom, because my mom gave it to me when I was a kid. She gave me that habit of having a T-shirt when I was sleeping. So it was like, it's almost like a security blanket of what it is.
By the way, well, you definitely got Michael Jordan in you, man, because he loved Hanes and you love a T-shirt. So
Yo, oh my goodness,
you're one of
man.
the greats. You got
Yo,
Nike and T-shirts.
let me tell you something about learning about art though, and how my like even transitioning back into just like art.
All right.
What I learned about having platforms and what everyone says today, like, oh, I have a platform, I want to speak about this, I want to speak about that, and you have brands and you have so many companies that they explain to you why they do what they do. I noticed that, and you could tell me, you could chime in too. What do you think has changed in today's 2020 of the utilization of media and platforms? Like, because there's been a lot of history that's changed
Yep.
all of what the artist means for public eye or what they stand for.
For what they
But I
stand for.
find it very difficult sometimes to really communicate the way you feel while still not crossing into other boundaries of
Other
like,
realms.
yeah,
Well,
like saying too much or doing too much.
well, I think the first thing was, even like for me, when I got my gallery, I think the internet and social media apps has really helped expose art to another level.
Mm-hmm.
Because being minorities, we wasn't really going to galleries ever.
No.
And so then let's take art back to where our culture was. If we didn't see graffiti on trains, billboards, walls, we would have never appreciated art like that.
Mm-hmm.
So once social media and Facebook and all these apps came, the more artists got a chance to show their art. And
Mm-hmm.
now I think that's what really made that art world turn. And then what also made it turn was the individuality of social media. Like, because like, think about it. If you get called from a company, right,
Mm-hmm.
they want you in a commercial. It's a little bit of their views combined with what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Social media made us to be like, look, I don't really care. I'm gonna do whatever my art is. This is me. So I think the balance is like, sometimes people have their job, but then social media and the web let everybody see the individuality of their own art.
Yeah.
If that answers it, the question.
Yeah. No, I feel like you can cross over into so many different realms
Yep.
through social media and the apps now in 2020, to where now I can
Before,
get in touch with Harmonia Rosales about her art pieces and really reach out and connect and just figure out, what was she thinking when she was creating this? How does that look? And
Yep.
then also it gives you a political platform now at this point where you can stand on something that you believe in.
Yep.
But also, it also created this opposition of you stand on this side and you believe this, or you stand on that side, which I think created a division also in the art realm.
In the art realm.
Yes.
But you know what? The best thing about art, it creates a voice and an opinion for individuality. Because you might look at the artist you like, and I might be like, I don't like it, but nobody's ever wrong in art. That's another thing I say. Because everybody's gonna look at it different and get their own meaning out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but that's why, like, the title, man, shout out to the NBPA, everything is art, man, because you can literally keep going we can keep going on and on when you like look at anything in the world or outside the world in the universe and
Mm-hmm.
connect it back to art. You know, from the stars to the patterns, the clouds. You know, I was looking at the clouds and I just seen so many different pictures. But if you look at them, you're gonna see totally different pictures from what I've seen. But it's still
Mm-hmm.
all art.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So who are some of your favorite artists though?
Wow. I think because of me coming up in the cultures like the Trinity, which is Warhol, Basquiat, and Herring. It was so connected because what was going on in hip hop at the same time, they were like the brothers of hip hop, and
Mm.
that they was like the Wu-Tang of art. That trio.
Yeah.
My whole ideology of what the compound is created off of the Andy Warhol's Fun Factory. So he
Mm.
basically had a spot that rap musicians, sports figures, entertainers, they all came there to celebrate each other, love for each other's art. So it's kind of more than just art, but what Andy Warhol built with the Fun Factory, those three, that trinity, is like where it starts. And then now all the street art that came from after that, like the Lichtensteins, the Kenny Sharps, the Cause, the Ron English, the Hebrew Brantleys. Kadir
Mm-hmm.
Nelson is one of my favorite black painters.
Mm-hmm.
He actually created a drawing that he told me was when he painted it, it was basically because of the A1 mixtape. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow. So,
Oh, by the way, I was just watching that stuff on YouTube, all the episodes.
oh,
And one.
I got something good off the record. I think I told you, but it's time now. But we'll talk about it's time. It's time.
I
But
got also, what do you think? What year do you think, or excuse me, what time period do you think, like post Renaissance, really intrigued you? Like of some of those past artists that you just like before Herring, before Basquiat, before.
so okay, so now this goes back to my point. I like to flip the interview around. This is great.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Um, I got to give the credit to elementary school, but I don't know the artist. Greek mythology.
Bingo.
Um, said bingo. I
Yep.
already know, but from Poseidon to Zeus to all of that. I just was like, but that's what I mean. We don't know who got the credit for all those great drawings. Um, how um, how it turned around, but I think that was like my favorite art inspiration. But
Mm-hmm.
then when you could take it to another level, Aquaman came from Poseidon.
Yep.
So you started seeing Marvel and DC kind of take realms of the Greek mythology world from the art that was created basically from another way that the credit wasn't given because we only seen the statues, so the paintings and the real drawings never got the light of day. But I
No.
think for me, growing up, Greek mythology was my favorite art ever. And I mean, look at Nike, like that's where it all comes from. And then my favorite artist is God. Connecting to the seven. A lot of people always asking me what like is it because you like craps? Is it Kyrie? Is it KD? Is it Melo? Is it
This is way
Kyle?
before. This is way before any of this happened. By the way, like just to
Yeah,
be clear, this was Stephen was already in
it,
the work before this was even done. Before Melo, before Katie. So I
exactly.
understand that. I hope everybody else does.
So for me, what it was that the Most High created the world in 7 days, 6 days, 6 days work, 1 day rest. So when I think of the artist, who is the artist that did it? The Most High, whoever you pray to, but he created the world, and that was the seven, and that's my favorite artist. And then visual after that, it was Greek mythology.
So the reason why I asked that, which is a great segue, is because I look back a lot on. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you saw my Instagram profile, but I put up Kyrie Irving and also my name in Greek, and it
Mm,
stands for Lord. It also was another name for Christ back in the Christian liturgical days.
yep, Lord.
When I look back at Greek mythology and during the Greco-Roman era of like all the centuries, the third and fourth centuries, I find my name in certain Greek texts. So
Wow.
a lot of that has already predated, like learning about the origins of Greek mythology, Greek art. My mom's name, Cynthia, her original name, before she was adopted out of the Lakota Sioux tribe, was Cynthia. And Cynthia is also a Greek mythology name, also named after the moon goddess Artemis. So
Okay.
my name and my family lineage comes from Greek, but it also predates that Greek and Roman era. So I
Wow.
always have an appreciation for that. And I'm glad you spoke on it, because I was wondering, like, that Renaissance, the Hellenistic period, like all of that good Greek mythology,
Probably.
that it all has great, great meaning.
Besides the world of that, did you love the art and like the statues and like the art aspect of Greek?
It was different. It was different for sure. You know, like when you understand kind of the context and meaning that they were going
Totally.
for, that's what I'm saying. The meaning is the only thing that matters, is because it was translated and still standing. What made me a little, it took my energy out, is just when I see my African art of the way it was treated. That's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna make it Greek versus Africa, but it's like,
Well,
I
we
still
didn't
know about that part
that
of
other
history.
level.
Yes,
I think for us, when we learned about, we didn't learn about African art growing up. We learned about Africa, and like I think the Greek mythology, we kind of learned it. Like, I learned about them, and they looked like superheroes to me, the way they like position them. But I wasn't really into the realm of the religion and all. I just was like, yo, dude got the big water stick, and this one could run fast, and so they was kind of more super, and that was why I looked at it as an artistic thing. But once I learned about African art, and I was blessed to make it to Soweto and Cape Town, and I was like,
oh, so you've been to Soweto?
yes, oh goodness,
Yes.
I cried. I like literally cried a lot.
Videos. Did you visit any of the schools there?
I visited with the Nelson Mandela area with the bricks, and then I went into how they get the electricity. They steal the electricity from the electrical plant, and I seen the art, and I met the Bushman tribe. I met some an older man who from the Bushman tribe, and I bought a piece from him. It's a head, and I carried it back, but he was an artist, and he carved it out of ironwood.
That's beautiful, man.
And I'll send you a picture of it, but I really like, that was kind of when on my first trip to Africa, I really started learning, like seeing African art and understanding it. I was like, wow, this is something that I need to learn about.
So I didn't learn about any of this stuff in school. So a lot of this came from self-educating, and
Totally.
yeah. So it's a beautiful thing to spend that time in those places in Cape Town as well as Soweto. Like, I went over there with UNICEF when I was 22. I don't know if there's a video, like there's me in the classroom and I'm dancing with the kids and I'm dancing outside, and the NBA was doing NBA Africa over there as well. And I have to tell you, it was the best trip I've taken. I
think mine too.
Yes. My dad was like, I was so ignorant, and I can admit that now. I was very ignorant as African American man at that point, and as an African, like, I had no idea that.
But I think all of us know, unless you go there, I don't think nobody has the idea.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think you could get that in a book or TV. It's a different feeling and energy and educational learning firsthand when you go there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I guess I'll wrap it up with, what part of art haven't had a chance to dive into in any culture that you want to still work in the art world in? Is there any of it out there left? Like, because I know music, I know sports, I know painting. Is it any other realms that you feel like as an art form that you would love to learn, try?
Man.
Tough.
Well, yeah, you see me. I'm over here like, I think my form of art now is through teaching.
Gotcha.
That's my form of art now is through teaching. I don't want to say I have everything in life figured out. I have a long way to go to really being the person I want to be internally and evolving into that. But teaching at this point, I love to teach the game. I love to teach about business. I love to teach about mythology. I love to teach about, to not even just teach, because as I teach, I still learn. I love to learn more about God and my relationship with Him. And I really just enjoy the aspect of seeing individuals transform and transcend into different areas of their life like that, because I can't say I was the same as I was when I was 16. I think about my journey now. I went from 16 to 19. I went from being in Montclair Kimberly to St. Patrick's to getting drafted at 18 and then becoming a #1 pick at 19, and then 19 to 22 of trying to be the best player I could be, 22 to 25, and now 25 to 28. I just break it down in periods of time where I've had this growth from life, and now it's 28 to 31. And what does that next phase of my life look like? And that's what I'm most excited about, is how do I teach and also give and share my knowledge of what I've learned about those things and just help the next person inspire themselves and inspire others. That's what Cole did for me. That's what Bruce Lee did for me. That's what Basquiat did for me. That's what Nas has done for me. That's what Nipsey did for us. That's what
all these different
so
lanes.
many names. I'm all over the place with all the artists that have influenced me to make and continue to be who I am, because it's easy to get scared from greatness. It's easy to go away from your calling, and my calling is to be who I am and be a very big light in humanity. So I'm moving towards that calling, and if I mess up, so what?
Do it again.
So what? So what? If I fail, so the F what? If I don't accomplish what I do in the right amount of time, so what? Like, keep coming back, keep going, keep grinding, keep going until you hit that internal that internal accomplishment. That's the only thing that matters. So,
man, thank you, man. And you just spawned a jewel on everybody, man. Teaching is another form of art. And it was one of the comments said, Mama mentality is a teaching. So thank you, man. Thank you to NBPA, man.
Yeah, thank you.
The whole team. And God bless, man. And I definitely will see each other on the other side. Let's keep the prayers going for the world and everything, man. Take care, man.
Yes, sir. God be with you, baby.
God bless, Kyle.
Sure.
Peace.
Save it and share it.
And now.